Hey, you know, I think I just figured out what Blitzball's been missing all this time.
De zurda, Magó hizo una pequeña bicicleta contra Xavi, se frenó otra vez, va por afuera, por adentro, ahora con la derecha vino el centro, controla Zaha, la saca Sissoko al revés, gol de Ferdinand, patea Ferdinand, de zurda al arco, ¡qué golazo! ¡Gol! ¡Río! ¡Gol! El 5, porque es para él. ¡Gol!
This game is such a colossal failure in basic storytelling, I still can't believe it. Apparently in Japanese there's no word for subtlety. None of the characters in this game look, dress, speak, or behave like normal human beings, not even the guy who the game keeps telling us is the protagonist. Not only does the weird sci-fi premise leave us completely adrift and confused as to where we are and what's going on, but our supposed protagonist himself is a whining, annoying water polo celebrity from some futuristic city 1,000 years in the past. It's not just impossible for the audience to relate to him, being an allegedly attractive sports superstar, but he's such an insufferable mincing twat that even if we could relate to him, we don't want to.
Star of the Xanarkand Apes. Didn't anyone tell you?
In fact, ever since Final Fantasy X, the entire series has had this real problem in identifying just who in the hell the hero of the story actually is. Like Final Fantasy XII. What the hell was up with Vaan and Penelo? They have nothing to do with the story. They're just street rats who contribute precisely nothing to the plot, which is centered squarely on Ash's quest to reclaim her kingdom and her romance with Balthier the Sky Pirate. If you took Vaan out of the story, I don't even think you'd have to change a single line of dialogue. Just start the game when Balthier enters the story. Final Fantasy X seems like it's in denial over this concept, having Tidus constantly shrieking about how this is his story.
This is my story. It'll go the way I want it. Or I'll end it here.
When the events of the story are centered solely on Yuna's quest to defeat Sin. Yuna's just a much more logical protagonist. She's lived a sheltered life, she's a normal gal who has an extraordinary destiny thrust upon her, a heroic journey to accept her duty and make the ultimate sacrifice to save a world she barely knows. Let's face it, she is the hero of the story. I know that Tidus has his own connection to Sin, who's really his abusive father, but his daddy issues are small potatoes next to Yuna literally dying for this world's sins.
But somehow, I felt like I didn't belong.
You don't! You don't have anything to do with this fucking story! Nobody wants you here! Hell, even Auron would make a better protagonist. His friendship with Braska and Jecht is only lightly touched upon, and yet resonates much more strongly. Auron's quest is one of redemption, an immortal, tortured soul seeking rest, and all he has to do is kill his best friend to release them both from their torments. There's real dramatic weight there, much more than some whiny little prick whining about how much he hates his prick dad.
I think I just figured something out.
What?
Why I hate my old man.
Nobody cares, you pouting lump of cunt discharge! Shut the fuck up!
What do you know?
Anyway, it's really here where I pretty much gave up on all the characters as being completely fucking useless. Seymour takes them to his holodeck and shows them a vision of Lady Yunalesca, who is a great summoner from the past who dressed more audaciously than Lady Gaga. Seymour says that to summon the final Aeon to defeat Sin, it takes an unbreakable love between the summoner and someone else. So he proposes marriage to Yuna on the spot.
All summoners are charged with bringing peace to Spira. She must be a leader for the people. I proposed to Lady Yuna.
He asked me to marry him.
Spira is no playhouse. A moment's diversion may amuse an audience, but it changes nothing.
Even so, the actors must play their parts.
Oh, well, that's just a great way to propose marriage to a woman.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Honest to God, if I were writing this story, this would be the entire group's response to Seymour's marriage proposal.
He asked me to marry him.
Seymour? Really? Seriously? Oh, that was a good one, Seymour. Who the fuck would be stupid enough to marry that guy? I mean, look at him. He looks like Rocky and Bullwinkle if they had a child. I mean, he's like the most obvious villain I've ever seen since, like, Ben Kingsley in Prince of Persia. Who would be stupid enough to marry that asshole?
I've decided to marry.
Wait a minute, Oren. You don't care? I mean, you're not gonna stop her?
No, I'm not.
What the fuck is wrong with all of you? What do you need? Some gigantic thunderclap whenever he enters the room? See, this is what I'm talking about. These characters are either insane or so hopelessly stupid they deserve to lose to a villain this transparently evil. And you know what the hell of it is? That's not even really why Titus is so upset. The guy's jealous of Seymour. You know something? If she's even considering putting her mouth on that nasty blue-veined wiener of Seymour's, trust me, you don't want her anyway. Besides, I always spend every chance I could get to hit on Lulu anyway.
Interesting. I suppose I could add you to my list.
You have a list? I don't even know what that means, but color me intrigued.
I wish you good luck, little boy. You're going to need it.
Riku's got a list, and it's really creepy. And if I hit that jailbait ass, I'd have a list too. It's called a rap sheet.
Well, just give me 5 or 6 more years.
Joe, you are a prison sentence waiting to happen, kid. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped ahead and almost gave the impression that stuff was actually happening in this game. In reality, it takes Yuna about 4 hours of game time to come to her decision. In the meantime, Seymour continues on his pilgrimage to give Yuna some time to think about it, and goes to his next stop, Makalania Temple.
They say Seymour went to Macarena Temple.
In other news, Titus is still a braying jackass. The guy's like a human puppy who still tries to sniff people's butts. While they're in Guadosalam, the group decides to visit the Far Plane, which is a place where people can just walk inside and visit the spirits of the dead anytime they want. Which is something the game really doesn't make that much of a fuss about, despite the fact the Far Plane is one of the most interesting and bizarre places on the planet. Nobody seems to question the existence or logic of this place. I mean, for instance, if I got a bunch of my friends together, could we summon up the spirit of Kurt Cobain and have some kind of afterlife Nirvana reunion concert? I know. We mustn't profane this most holy of places where we can conjure up the honored spirits of the dead. We must beware the sacrilege and preserve the sanctity of— oh crap, a spirit of the dead! Run for your lives!
He does not belong here.
Well, that killed about 90 minutes. Time to kill 90 more by crossing the Thunder Plains.
I think I forgot something in Guadosalam.
Nice knowing you.
You may remember this place by the absurd timing minigame where you have to push a button a split second before getting struck by lightning, but I remember it for getting jumped every second and a half and having to fight the same goddamn group of 3 monsters every time. You have to fight a floating eyeball thingy with a mouth, and a floating demon with a face where his ball should be. And you have to fight these guys about a zillion fucking times, too. I've heard there's some unlockable thing if you can dodge the lightning strikes 100 times in a row. I wouldn't know. Honestly, I really couldn't care less. And if you've actually done it, congratulations! You are officially obsessive-compulsive and have less of a life than I do. And my friend, that is saying something. After that, you sit around and talk about nothing at an inn for a while. Titus continues to find ways to get even more annoying, and then you wander around a forest for a while, where Oren leads you directly into a trap against an incredibly difficult giant amoeba, all to recover some video recording of Jack that he left in the forest 10 years ago. Trust me, this whole scene is completely fucking pointless, accomplishes nothing, and only served to kill another 45 minutes. Seriously, it was just an excuse to throw a random boss battle into the game for a complete no prize. We learned nothing from this video, except that Oren is completely insane for stashing a videotape in a hard-to-find secret area of a monster-infested forest instead of someplace sane, like, I don't know, a house? Then we exit the forest and camp out at another inn to sit around and talk for a while. Do you see what I'm talking about with this game just spinning its wheels for about 20 hours? We cross a map, we fight a boss, we rest at an inn and talk about the exact same stuff over and over and over again. And somehow, Macon's here too. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen his old ass dodging lightning bolts. But suddenly, the Albed attempt to abduct Yuna again, in a giant mech!
He's gonna use an anti-magic field on us!
Oh crap, it's another anti-magic field generator kit! Spoony, you ignorant slut! That was last year! The wheels of science never stop turning! That's why I present to you the Negator! no longer restrict your anti-magic fields to your secret lair. The Negate has a 12-hour battery backup, so you can go on the offensive, and you don't need a dongly thing to stay shackled to a wall outlet. And it's rocket-powered! Not only is it cool, it takes it safely out of range of any ground-based weaponry. It's gunblade-proof, it's impossible to reach, and it's made of solid steel. What could anyone possibly throw up there that's gonna get through that? What the? A blitz ball? Who throws a blitz ball? Come on! That's just dumb! Eventually, you make it to a temple high in the snow-covered mountains. You know, these guys really ought to dress warmer for going snowmobiling in the mountains. Yuna goes off to, pray with Seymour. In the meantime, the others do the sensible thing and start snooping through her stuff.
A sphere in Lady Yuna's belongings.
And it's a good thing they did, because that's where they find a sphere from Seymour's dad, Lord Jiskel.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Jiskel explains that Seymour murdered him, and he must be stopped before he enslaves the entire world!
If he is not stopped, he will surely bring destruction and chaos to Spira.
Naturally, this comes as a complete shock to everyone.
Wonderful.
So finally, everyone gets a clue and decides to go beat up Seymour.
But he's a maester!
Please be silent. Lady Yuna prays to the faith.
Make me!
Ugh, this is gonna be the wussiest fight between good and evil ever witnessed.
I knew you were bad news the first time we met.
Oh, my sincerest apologies.
Seymour!
Seymour! This battle was frigging annoying. Seymour's got his two hairstylists behind him, constantly casting buff and healing spells, and every time you hit them, they drop an auto potion. They fight like such girls. Eventually, Seymour summons Dagon again, so Yuna returns, summoning her new mystery Aeon. But what could it be? What magics could Yuna have possibly unlocked in the depths of this icy temple of ice? What spirit— oh, it's Shiva. Yeah, what a shock. Thanks for keeping me in suspense, though. After a very long and annoying, tedious fight, Seymour eventually drops over dead, and the rest of the Guado arrive just in time to see what you've done.
Seymour struck first, he's the bad guy.
You did this?
Yuna, send him.
Or not. Either way's good. Oh, what is this shit? You know, if these guys had any brains at all, Titus and Orn would jump on his fucking corpse and chop it into pieces the size of croutons. Do you not know a recurring villain when you fucking see one? In another startling plot twist, the rest of the obviously evil-looking Guado all turn out to be evil, and they attack you too. But these Guado fight like Pokemon trainers, but the only thing they ever summon are the same evil scoops of ice cream you see everywhere else. Okay, well, except for the last one, which summons a deadly Wampa! Oh, we've already killed monsters the size of a 7-Eleven, but there's nothing more dangerous than the abominable snowman when he's got a berserk spell cast on him. The battle with the Wampa is so epic and devastating it destroys the fragile ice sheet they're standing on, and then they plummet into the depths of the glacier to certain death!
Praise be to Yevon. That's what I would have said, if I was a follower of Yevon.
Yeah? So? Praise be to Hubbard! That's what I would have said if I were a complete ass clown!
Look, that's the bottom of the temple. We've fallen a long way.
Yeah, how did we survive that again? Now, if you thought Yuna was stupid before, just wait until she actually explains what in the hell she was thinking when she agreed to marry Seymour.
I wanted to confront Maester Seymour about his father, Lord Jiskel. I wanted to convince him to turn himself in to Yevon's judgment.
In exchange for marriage?
Yes, if that's what it took.
So, what did Seymour say?
He didn't say anything. Now I don't even think it was worth it.
No.
I should have told you what I was going to do.
Oh, you think?
Enough.
Whoa! You can't just hit me in the face with Lulu's titties like that. You could kill someone with those things. Hey, you gotta warn me first.
We must go to Bevel.
Then we will defy Yevon if we must.
Count me out. We have to atone, to make up for the sins we have committed.
Is everyone other than Orin in this fucking game a complete jackhat with the brains of a sock drawer? Okay, so I pretty much lose track of the entire narrative here. Yuna gets knocked out by the drop of several thousand feet, and instead of actually trying healing magic, or potions, or any kind of first aid, the group decides to just let her lie there until she gets better. Orin and Titus start talking again about how Sin is jacked. Then we cut to see Sin floating around, somewhere, and then they all get sprayed by Sin's toxin somehow. Titus has a hallucination, and when he snaps out of it, suddenly he's alone in the middle of a desert. I'm dead serious. This just happened. Oh, and by the way, Yuna's been kidnapped again. I just can't... I have no explanation for this! They're all buried in the ice beneath a frozen lake 1 minute, and then Sin appears, farts on them, and now they're all in a completely different geographical location. It's like the designers literally wrote themselves into a corner and could not, for the life of them, figure out how to get the party to the desert level immediately after the ice level. So now Sin's toxin just randomly teleports you halfway across the fucking planet. This is such a clumsy and blatant cheat. I can't believe no one's called this game out on this long before now. This makes no fucking sense! It's like Sin's toxin teleported him to Arrakis. There are even hidden caches of healing water of life concealed by the friendly sand nomads.
We have thousands of such caches.
To lead them, I must conquer the worm, conquer Shai Hulud.
Usul has called a big one. Again, it is the legend.
When you finally hook up with Riku again, she finally explains what the fuck is going on with all these Al Bhed attacks. It seems they've made it their mission to abduct summoners against their wills, to keep people from dying needlessly in their struggle against Sin.
Well, I sure don't get it, Waka. They might get hurt on their pilgrimage? So you kidnap them?
This is some major league stupid shit right here. To keep summoners safe and prevent people from dying, they slaughter their sworn guardians with amphibious tanks armed with miniguns?
Uni will die, you know? With the final Aeon, she can beat Sin. But then, if she calls it, then the final Aeon's gonna kill her.
Oh, yeah, great. So, protect the summoner and let Sin gobble entire continents. I'm sure your noble cause is a great comfort to all the villagers you're happily sacrificing to a gruesome death at the claws of horrible nightmare creatures, or a slow, terrible drowning death.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
This game is fucking stupid! Oh, and I almost forgot, the big revelation here was that Yuna will eventually end up sacrificing herself to defeat Sin, which comes as a huge shock only to Titus because, again, he's got the brains of a crotch fungus. Prepare for Femi whining overacting!
How could you? How could you? Isn't she like a sister to you?
We all live in fear of sin, you know that.
A world without sin.
Okay, so you stumble on the Al Bhed home city only to find it being attacked by the Guado. Man, these guys mobilize fast. And you bust in to rescue Yuna. Sadly, when you find their leader, Sid, you discover the Guado have re-kidnapped her from her previous kidnappers. Also, the whole time you brawl through the city, there's some kind of weird, annoying alarm that plays the whole time. I don't really know what the voice is saying, but it sounds like it's calling Titus an annoying cunt.
So you know where she is?
Of course not! That's why we're gonna look, using this airship!
Gonna go down to Germany and personally shoot that paper-hanging son of a bitch! Sid orders an evacuation of the city on their airship, and to prevent its capture, he launches missiles to destroy the city completely. The Al Bhed are completely devastated, heartbroken at the loss of their ancient home.
Hey, look, don't get so down. Boom! Like happy festival fireworks, yeah?
Happy Festival fireworks? That could be the stupidest, most insensitive, idiot thing any character has ever said in any work of fiction. These people are watching their home, all of their belongings, everything they've ever known and loved burned to a cinder before their very eyes, and he's saying it's like happy festival fireworks. That's like trying to cheer people up after Hurricane Katrina by saying it's like a big giant water park. Okay, so they figure out that they've taken Yuna back to Bavel so she can marry Seymour. Wait, how do they know this? How are they seeing this? I'm serious, they're just pulling this video feed right out of their ass! Is this like Princess Diana's wedding? I thought the Church of Yevon didn't believe in this technology.
Yuna must be trying to send him.
I think if she tried doing her silly dance in front of him, he'd probably just have some of his people hit her with truncheons until she stopped. Cause Yuna's kind of a fucking idiot. There's so much about this scene that makes no sense, I don't even know where to start. First of all, the time frame of all these events is all over the place. Titus teleports from a frozen lake to a desert halfway across the world in a matter of seconds. Somehow, mere minutes later, the Albed learn of their arrival and kidnap Yuna. Somehow, the Guado not only learn of Yuna's new location in a totally unexpected place, but manage to mobilize an army to conquer their entire city before the group can unite and approach the city on foot, which in itself takes only a matter of minutes. Then, in the time it takes for them to evacuate an entire city, they've already managed to outrace an Albed airship back to Bavel, get Yuna fitted for a dress, and organize an entire wedding for Seymour, which in itself raises all sorts of questions. If you didn't know this by now, Seymour is dead. In fact, he may have been dead for quite a while before this, but apparently in Spira, dying is just a minor inconvenience that sidelines you for, 5, maybe 10 minutes. Then you just get back up and start walking around again like nothing happened. To move on to the afterlife, a summoner has to perform the sending ritual, but really, why bother? If the unsent just get better and, for all intents and purposes, are completely normal, except for the added benefit of being effectively indestructible, what's the downside of dying? Well, okay, I did think of a couple. One big one is you'd never manage to get rid of the douchebags of the world, and two, you'd have all these weird rapey dudes trying to have fucked up zombie sex with our living chicks. That's when our heroes race to the rescue. Luckily, they have the grind boots from Ratchet & Clank to slide down these wires. Seymour very nicely waits at the top of the stairs while the heroes brawl their way up to him. Not only is the wedding being guarded by stormtroopers, he's also got giant crane-kicking robots.
You would play at marriage just for a chance to send me? Your resolve is admirable. All the more fitting to be my lovely wife.
Honestly, can someone explain to me the point of this whole charade? It's clear to everyone that this wedding is a sham. Nothing is stopping anyone from telling the public that Seymour is an unsent abomination perverting the teachings of Yevon. It's clear to anyone with eyes that this is happening against Yuna's will, and that he's using forbidden machines. Hell, the High Priest is conducting this ceremony holding a fucking shotgun! Yuna threatens to jump unless he lets her friends go, and then she jumps anyway, apparently leaving her friends to die, not knowing they had a way to escape. And if she did think they could escape, why did she stop the sending ritual which could have gotten rid of Seymour? I don't know, and none of the villains in this game have any clear motivations. This whole thing could have been avoided if Yuna had just performed the sending ritual when they had Seymour beat the first time. What was she waiting for? Now the guy's indestructible. You know, in fiction, you just can't leave loose ends like this. If the villain's down, you finish him off. Otherwise, he'll just keep coming back from beyond the grave if need be to bite you right in the ass.